I have learned to use the word impossible with the greatest caution. Werhner Von Braun. Werhner Von Braun, a space pioneer, was born March 23, 1912, in nowadays Poland. He got a telescope at an early age, which gave him a passion for astronomy. In the winter of 1929, Werhner von Braun contacted Willy Ley and asked him if he could join the VFR, a Berlin rocketry club. With the VFR, he invented technology such as a liquid fuel rocket and a revolutionary coolant system. Soon, the Weimar Republic took notice of the VFR and asked them to build the X-1, their first military rocket. After the Weimar Republic fell, the Nazis took over and fired the VFR. Well, everybody but Werhner von Braun. Soon he was sent to a secret rocket facility at Peenemünde, where he developed the first rocket to go into space, the V-2. Though the V-2 went into space, it took 3 years to get it right. But when they finished, they had the world's first long-range ballistic missile, with brand new technology, such as an automatic pilot. Many people were excited with the first successful launch, such as Werhner von Braun's boss, Walter Dornberger. As he said, "This is the first day of the space age." But on the night of August 17, 1943, 597 Lancaster and Halifax bombers destroyed Peenemünde. Thankfully, not all was lost. Von Braun and his team had the all-important blueprints and were moved to facilities in Enkham and Friedland in northern Germany. On March 13, 1944, von Braun was arrested by the Gestapo. He was accused of using his research for space exploration instead of doing what the Nazis wanted, which was to develop weapons. After 2 weeks in captivity, Walter Dornberger, his boss, presented documentation proving his innocence.
I think von Braun is a very complex character in our history, and that living in World War II Germany, he did what he had to do to survive.
In April 1945, von Braun, Dornberger, and their colleagues found lodging in Bavaria, waiting for the opportunity to make contact with American forces. The war ended for Peenemunde's leaders in early May when contact was made with elements of the 324th Infantry Regiment, U.S. 44th Infantry Division. The Americans were elated to find von Braun and his team, and they worked quickly to bring as many of the scientists and engineers to the United States. The action referred to as Operation Paperclip would enable the exchange of rocket technology to the U.S. When they got to the U.S., they were moved to Fort Bliss, Texas, which is near White Sands Missile Range. Not only did the U.S. bring scientists and engineers from Germany, they also brought their rockets. By 1946, the former German rocket team was launching V-2s at White Sands. During the testing of the V-2s, it became obvious that the White Sands testing site had grown too small. The Army created a new testing site at Cape Canaveral, Florida, where rockets could be launched out over the water like in Peenemunde. This would open up a new opportunity to explore the possibilities of rocket technology. In 1950, the team moved to Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. At Redstone, Werhner von Braun and his team would start development of new rockets such as the Redstone, Hermes, and Jupiter, based off their experiences with the V-2s. Werhner von Braun and some of his team, including Willy Ley, wanted to convey their ideas about the exploration of space to the American public. Their intent was to exchange the progress and value of the space program for public support. In the March 22, 1952 issue of Collier's magazine, Werhner von Braun contributed an article named The Last Frontier. The article explained the workings of a rocket using the analogy of a bullet firing from a gun to help people understand how a rocket works.
I would say the Collier series, it was beautifully illustrated, and this was in 1952, so it was bringing these ideas that were science fiction at the time and showing that they could become a reality.
Werhner von Braun would continue to contribute articles to Collier's magazine through 1954. The topics that Von Braun covered included a description of the moon and an article about traveling to Mars. Some scientists, including some members of the Huntsville team, questioned the value of promoting space exploration through the media. Von Braun replied, "We can publish scientific treatises till hell freezes over. But unless we make people understand what space travel is, and unless the man who pays the bills is behind us, nothing is going to happen." I think that Von Braun had a unique combination of technical skill, vision, and the ability to articulate that vision in a way that rallied support for the things he wanted to do. Dr. Stephen A. Hawley. Von Braun would share his vision once again in a March 9, 1955 TV production by Walt Disney titled Man in Space.
Now here's a model I designed for a 4-stage orbital rocket ship. Compared to the unmanned instrument rocket, it is quite large, but the overall size and weight of the rocket is mainly determined by the 11 tons weight of this top section. This weight dictates the amount of fuel and the numbers of motors needed to produce enough power to equalize the gravitational pull of the Earth.
After many hard years of work, Von Braun and his team launched America's first satellite, Explorer 1. Von Braun said, "It was one of the great moments of my life. I only regret we didn't do it earlier." The success of Von Braun led to President Dwight D. Eisenhower presenting him with the Distinguished Federal Civilian Service Award. In a February 15, 1960 report to the Senate titled Transfer of Von Braun to NASA, President Dwight D. Eisenhower stated, "I have concluded that it is in the best interest of the nation to take another step at this time to provide NASA with an organization capable of and equipped for developing and operating large space vehicle boosters and conducting related research." The report later states that NASA strongly believes that the addition of the Huntsville group to NASA is essential to the National Civilian Space Program. A few years after he joined NASA, they asked him to work on the Saturn rocket. After many hard years of work, the Saturn was finished. They put the Apollo capsule on top of the Saturn rocket. In 1969, the Apollo 11 launched and Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon. He said, "I have made one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." That morning, people in Huntsville, Alabama, started celebrating the historic flight. After the successful Apollo 11 mission, interest in the space program died down. Werner Von Braun was reassigned to a new post in Washington, D.C. That move marked the end of his rocket developing career. Now, as you can see, Werner Von Braun exchanged his knowledge and vision about rocket technology to facilitate his dream of exploring the unknowns of space. His work inspired a generation of new space pioneers that continue to push the boundaries of our knowledge of space.
Gather round while I sing you of Werner von Braun, a man whose allegiance is ruled by expedience. Call him a Nazi, he won't even frown. Nazi schmazi, says Werner von Braun. Don't say that he's hypocritical, say rather that he's apolitical. Once the rockets are up, who cares where they come down? That's not my department, says Werner von Braun. Some have harsh words for this man of renown, but some think our attitude should be one of gratitude, like the widows and cripples in old London town, who owe their large pensions to Werner von Braun. You too may be a big hero once you've learned to count backwards to 0. In German or English, I know how to count down. And I'm learning Chinese, says Werner von Braun.